The next character added to the game that we need to talk about in their release order is Human Torch. Now, Human Torch has been in a very dominant spot within the build of the game for a long time. It just barely feels like recently he's kind of started to come back from his exclusive dominant era. And I am perfectly okay with that. So just a brief reminder that these videos are not as much this is a buff that should happen to these characters, but if the abilities that they have were to be expanded and the characters were to be given a new ability in line with their powers and abilities from the comics that's not currently represented in their build, what would that be and what would that look like? With that in mind, let's talk about Johnny's abilities. From the comics, his abilities are very straightforward, one of these shorter condensed list of abilities that we've seen, those being Pyrokinesis, Fiery Form that enables flight, and Heat Energy Absorption. Now, that last point is a little difficult to implement into the game on account of the fact that he's really one of the few, if not the only character presently, that consistently and routinely relies on fire and flames to use his abilities. So being able to draw anything from the environment would be a little bit of a stretch, and being able to absorb attacks from other enemies that he's facing off against would feel incredibly niche in the current build. But the other two are very well represented, so how could we expand upon either of those abilities if we were going to do so in a way that would give Human Torch a new ability? That question is further complicated by the fact that all of the primary abilities that you would put a new ability on as a keybind are in use, or at least at a glance they are. So of course he has his primary attack, he has his ultimate is left shift, his E is F, and his right click, which are the standard keybinds for various different abilities that characters possess. But what he doesn't have is an alternate fire in terms of a secondary mode of dealing damage. He just has the fire clusters, which have something of a shotgun style spread to them. So my suggestion for something to change with Johnny, and potentially make it so he's not always just living up in the sky, far away from fights, and bring him down to the point where he can contribute a little more directly and in line with his team, would be to give him a secondary mode of dealing damage that you can toggle between by using the scroll wheel. Now, what would that look like? I think it still needs to run on the fire cluster ammunition that he has and consume that same resource. But ideally, what I see this as being is a jet of flame that he extends out in a continuous stream in front of him that can deal consistent damage to his enemies and potentially gets amped up if they find themselves standing in either his Pyro Prison or his Blazing Blast areas that he can set up, just to kind of encourage him to play into his kit and complement the things that he's already able to do and be a little more strategic and get full value out of an attack structure of that kind. That's really the only thing that I can see that you could add to the character without overhauling things that he already has implemented in his build. But what do you think? Is there a different change that you would make to Johnny Storm, or is there an adjustment that you'd rather see to the abilities that he already has? I'm interested to hear what you have to say in the comments below. And if you enjoyed today's video, make sure that you leave a like, follow, and share with somebody that may enjoy this discussion as well. And we'll be back to talk about the thing tomorrow.